Hey everybody, this is Thiago for the English 10 and welcome to the first lesson of the accent reduction workshop series. In the previous video that I did, the introduction video, I talked about the importance of speaking your English sentences in a more linked way because if you can do that, you sound more fluid and more fluent, right? So today for our first lesson, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can do that. All right, we're going to continue this series with more videos on that topic, but for now, let's get right into it, okay? The first tip that I can give you is pay attention to the verbs, the words that have ing endings, okay? In most cases, you don't pronounce the G, okay? So when you have verbs like working, doing, cooking, playing, yeah, you don't pronounce the G at the end of those words. So if you cut the G out, the last sound that you make is actually the sound of the letter N, right? The previous letter. So you can make this sound like this. For example, the verb working, you can say working. You see, I raise my tongue for the N, for the N, so working. Or you can just keep your tongue flat, yeah? And then you say working or playing, okay? That's fine. But the important thing here is don't pronounce the G. I never say working-y, doing-y, playing-y, okay? That's not actually right, okay? So don't do that. Here on my cell phone, I have some examples to give you about that. So just listen to me and repeat right after, okay? So listen and repeat. Working, doing, watching, eating, running, walking, cooking, drinking, writing, speaking. Okay, so remember that we never pronounce the G here. It's not doing-y, watching-y, okay, drinking-y. You don't do that. So that's tip number one. You make sure you cut out the G there. Now, if you have a vowel after this type of verb, this type of word, the ing ending, what you do is you join the N sound of the ing word with the vowel sound that comes after it. So for example, if you have a segment such as working on a project, right? Look, right there I have the ing, right, for working. Remember, I don't pronounce the G, so you can cut it out. So since my last sound is the N, and the next sound that I have to produce is the O for the on, yeah? You join, you connect the N with the O. So N plus O becomes no. And then I have an A sound, a sound right after the second N. I also connect those. I connect the N with the it becomes N. So both together, yeah, I say no na, no na. You see the connection that I'm making there? No na, no na. So the segment I say working on a project. You see? Working on a project. All right? The same is true for making a cake. Can you hear the connection there, the linking? Making a, making a cake, yeah, and watching a movie. Again, watching a movie, yeah. Remember that you don't have to speak or read these segments necessarily fast, yeah. You can speak slowly, yeah, as long as you make these linking sounds when you speak. So you can say working on a project, making a cake, yeah, watching a movie, and then as you feel more comfortable with this articulation, you can speed up until you get to the point where you are saying working on a project, making a cake, okay, watching a movie, okay? So that was pretty much it for the ing words, okay? That was the first tip. Now, the second tip that I can give you is about words that end with a T or with a D, okay? If you have a word that ends with a T, and after that word, the next word begins with a consonant, you can cut out the final T from the first word, okay? Let me give you some examples here, yeah? But, the, yeah? So, I have the final T for but there, yeah? And then I have the T for the next word, the, okay? In that case, I don't have to say the final T for but. So instead of saying but the, I can say but the. You see? The same is true for but then, could go. You see, I don't say could go, yeah? It's not necessary to pronounce that D, just cut it out. Because you have a consonant after, right, the G, so just cut it out and you say could go. Should do, will go, at times, what color, okay? So, but then, could go, should do, will go, at times, what color, all right? We have some sentences now to practice. Listen to me and then repeat afterwards, okay? But the boy goes there. But then we had to talk to people. I could go there anytime. You should do that. I will go tomorrow. I feel crazy at times. What color is that? What color is that? Note that in that last question, the last example, yeah, the word that is ending the sentence, is ending the question. So the final T is ending the sentence. When you have that kind of situation, it becomes optional. You can choose to pronounce that T or that D, or you can choose to cut it out. So here I can say, what color is that? Yeah, I can actually pronounce the T here. What color is that? What color is that? Or I can choose to cut out entirely, and then I say, what color is that? What color is that? Okay, so it becomes optional in this case, all right? So that was the T and the D when you have a consonant following them. You just cut them out. Now, what if you have a vowel? Yeah, if you have a vowel, you don't really cut out the T or the D at the end of the word, but you pronounce it as a Portuguese R. Yeah, and by Portuguese R, I mean that Portuguese R that we have for the word such as barato. You know that word in Portuguese, barato. Pay attention to how we pronounce that R sound in Portuguese. Barato, bara, rara, ra 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 ra. You see that R sound, that's what I mean. So if you have a word like but, for example, and then you have a vowel right after like I, yeah, instead of saying but I, you make the T sound there as a ra ra sound, okay? So you say but I, okay? So ra ra ra, but I. I have more examples here, so just listen. But I, could I, should I, addict, but would any. You got the idea? Let's practice some with some sentences now, okay? Listen and repeat. But I know that. Could I do this? Should I stay or should I go? We'll go at 8 o'clock. But a dime is enough. Would anybody pay for this? You see, so I don't really pronounce the D's and the T's here as a D and a T, but I make them as a ra ra ra, which is the same R sound that we have in Portuguese for words like barato. Yeah. For example, should I stay or should I go? Yeah. The famous song from The Clash. Yeah. You know that's how they sing it. Yeah. Should I stay or should I go? Right. They never sang should I stay or should I go? Right. You see, there's no D there. Yeah. Another example is the 8 o'clock example. Yeah. Look, we'll go at 8 o'clock. This one is kind of crazy because I have two ra sounds there, yeah? I have the first one, which is are, right? And then the second one, areiro, right? So together I say areiro, reiro, areiro, at 8 o'clock, yeah? So again, you can practice speaking this slowly first, yeah? For example, at 8 o'clock, reiro, 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 areiro, areiro. And then you can start to speed up as you feel more comfortable until you get to at 8 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, at 8 o'clock. So normally I would say, oh yeah, we go there at 8 o'clock. Do you go there at 8 o'clock? Oh yeah, definitely. You see? So that's about it, guys, for today. These are some tips that I can give you on how to speak your sentences more connected. So we talked about three things basically, yeah? The ing endings, the T and the D endings. So just to recap very quickly, if you have an ending with ing, usually it's a verb, yeah? Remember that you don't pronounce the G. So if you cut out the G, the last sound that you make is the N, like working and playing and doing, yeah? And then if you have a vowel after that ing word, make sure you connect the N sound that you make last with the vowel sound, like working on a project and making a cake and watching a movie, okay? Also, we talked about the words that end in T or in D. So if you have a word that ends in T or in D, and then you have a consonant right after that word, you can cut out that final T and D. You don't have to pronounce them. So it's the examples such as but then, could go, should do, yeah? Not but the, could go, should do. You don't do that, okay? And finally, if you have a vowel after this final T or D, instead of cutting them out, you transform the sound into a ra ra ra, which is the same as our Portuguese R sound for barato, remember? So it goes something like should I stay or should I go, but I, could I, should I, yeah? So that's about it. Well, guys, that was the first lesson of the accent reduction workshop series about the final T, D, and ing. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And make sure you practice that. You know, you can practice this with any English text that you can find online or on magazines and books, right? So make sure you practice that. You pick a text and identify the final T's, D's, and INGs, and then you analyze if you can cut them out or join them, either with a na-na sound or a ra-ra sound, okay? Oh, there's just one exception about this that I am going to explain now, about the cutting, which has to do with the regular verbs, okay? If you have a regular verb in English, yeah, in the past, that ends with ed, like the past of work is worked and play, played, yeah, you know, these words. In those cases, you don't cut out the D. You need to speak the D because that's how we differentiate between present and past. So it's no problem. You can say work and worked in the past, play, played, decide, decided, Yeah, so in those verbs, yeah, the regular verbs, the ed verbs, that's an exception. You don't need to cut those d's, you actually have to pronounce them. But other than that, if it's a irregular verb or any other word, just cut away. Okay? So that's about it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you share the video with your friends and family. If you know anybody who is also studying English and trying to improve their speaking, their pronunciation, share this video with this person. If you haven't done this yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification, which is the little bell icon. Yeah, and drop me a line. I mean, you can send me an email if you have any questions about English, and then I'll consider answering your doubt in a future video. Okay? So thank you very much for watching. I'm Thiago, and happy learning.